Good Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist James Hopkins from 10 Tampa Bay, and joining me will be Lee Southwick from First Coast News. And of course, we're talking all things weather. Luckily, tropics, things are relatively quiet. And of course, probably already noticed that you step outside and it is beautiful out there and lots of sunshine. Perfect timing. Lee, you've got a big game going on today there in Jacksonville.
You are absolutely right. It is a huge day here in Jacksonville, and honestly, right across the street from us, too. It's at Everbank Stadium, the Florida-Georgia game. So if you guys hear some weird noises, it's the tailgates going on all around this building. The bass is so loud, it's kind of shaking this wall right here, so I apologize if you can hear it.
Is Mike Prangley out there?
With taking... sorry, go ahead.
I said, is Mike Prangley out there? Is he outside?
I'm sure he will be. I'm sure I'll see him very shortly. If I see him walk by, I'm going to wave him inside.
There you go.
I'm going to start with a live look, though, out towards the camera. We can look to see if we can see Mike on that camera, too. But you'll see that the tailgates are starting to go here. So if you look at the parking lots, you see the cars come in. You already see all the tents up. Look at that. It is getting crowded. Kickoff is at 3:30 p.m., so we are still hours away. But, of course, everyone piling in. Some call it the largest cocktail party in the world. So people are getting going. In our front parking lot here at First Coast News, we have a huge free tailgate. You kind of see the flags flying just at the bottom of the screen from that. So we got a lot going on here. But it has been a chilly start. Now we're moving into the 11 o'clock hour, so we have finally moved into the 60s. We have been in the 40s and 50s all morning, but now downtown sitting right around 62 degrees. And not too much of a breeze, not making it feel extra chilly like it has been recently. Now, temperatures across the First Coast, mostly in the 60s. Lake City still holding on to the 50s right now, but everyone else getting through the 60s. Way across, that's got to be a nice change of pace for you after you started off at 39 degrees. Brunswick did as well. It was just such a chilly morning. So here's a look at the next couple of hours, specifically for downtown. We're going to continue to get through the 60s and then into the 70s. So while a lot of people have long sleeves on out there right now, you're not going to need that for much longer. Well, let me rephrase that. Some of you won't need it for much longer. 71 degrees should feel pretty comfortable in the sunshine, and we have a lot of it. You can see that live look again behind these temperatures, just wall-to-wall sunshine, blue skies. So we're gonna get up to around 71 downtown, and for anyone watching that might be heading to the game later, just a friendly reminder that it's actually a couple of degrees warmer in the bank, usually in the stadium. Then as we go through game time, those temperatures are gonna drop back down into the 60s. So here's your Florida-Georgia game day forecast, starting off around 71 at kickoff, which is 3:30, falling down through the 70s, down into the 60s. And we do have our sunset at 6:38 p.m., which we'll get to more on that in one moment. Don't forget we fall back tonight. But for the rest of you, maybe you are avoiding downtown Jacksonville, and I don't blame you. It is a mess on the roads. It's getting quite crowded, quite loud. Your high temperature is going to be staying in the lower 70s for most of us, and it's possible for those of you mainly right along the coast, you could potentially stay in the upper 60s. So it is a cooler day, cooler than normal, because you'll see our average high is usually in the middle and upper 70s. So a fall-like day for the first day of November. Now, as we head into our overnight hours, don't forget again that we do fall back at 2 a.m. So today our sunrise is at 7:41 a.m. Took a while to see some light in the sky. Tonight our sunset is at 6:38 p.m. So hopefully the game is wrapping up around then. People still getting some sunlight, some daylight to get out of the stadium. But tomorrow, totally different story. If you are an early riser, you will likely like this sunrise at 6:42 a.m. But if you like to get out and about in your evening hours, sunset tomorrow at 5:38 p.m. This is here in Jacksonville. James, I don't know if it's a little different for you all there in the Tampa Bay area, but at least here in Jacksonville, our next 6 p.m. sunset is not going to be until January 29th. So if you like the later sunsets, make sure to get out there later on this evening. And then as we head into the overnight hours, it's getting cold again. So today it started off chilly. James, this afternoon, I think it's perfect football weather at 71. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I think 71 should be comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
And so what is it feeling like today in Tampa Bay?
Well, a little warmer than that, but dealing with, again, cold snap. It's funny because my wife went to work yesterday and she texted me. She goes, everybody in my office is complaining how cold It is. And of course, this is not typical fall. We keep talking about feeling like fall because of the drier air. Yeah, we were quite a bit chilly as we're supposed to be starting our days in the 60s and getting into the 80s. But same as you, we did start. There's a few spots that were quite chilly. Take a live look out there right now, and we're looking beautiful. You can see all the blue sky that we have out there. So a great day. I don't have any sports for you. We have Tampa Bay, who is the Bucks, who are on a bye week. We have USF, which is off. The Lightning are out of town till next Saturday. So we got nothing to go on but head outside, at least sports-wise. So you take a look out over St. Pete and looking good there as well. Looking off towards the east, seeing a lot of blue sky. And this is something you don't typically see a lot this time of year. And it is an empty Clearwater beach. You look from the Wyndham Grand, and you're not seeing many people out there. I zoomed in on a couple of them, and they're still with the jackets and long pants on right now because your temperatures are in the 60s. And again, it's not going to be too bad, but you're going to make it into the low 70s this afternoon, which again, a little bit below average. Supposed to be up a little closer to 80 this time of year. But look at that water temperature, 76. I don't think there's going to be many people out there swimming with a high of about 72 and that water temperature at 76. Your marine forecast is looking much better. A little breezy yesterday, real breezy on Thursday. So we're looking at a light chop of the bay, winds out of the northeast about 5 to 10 knots. And there's your winds. Again, they have been dying down over the past couple of days, which is nice. Take a look out over Davis Island. You see all that blue sky out there. They're sitting at 68 degrees. And you should make it up a couple more degrees by lunchtime. The one thing we do have going on is the Hillsborough County Fair. We're in day 3. It did start on Thursday. And for today, if you want to head out again by lunchtime, you'll be about 70 degrees. And 4 p.m., there's your high for the day, about 76. Once the sun goes down, we are going to see those temperatures dropping pretty quick. You see 67 degrees at 8 p.m., still not too bad. The fair closes at about 10. But Ian, you want to talk about a chilly start to the day. Here's this morning, and look at Crystal River. Brooksville officially made it into the 30s. 39 degrees. That's cold. Tampa, not too bad. Again, you're at 55. But 59 for St. Petersburg. That was one of the warmer spots, just shy of 60. And your dew points are on their way back up. So temperatures right now, again, we have upper 60s for most, mid 60s along the coast, with the cool spot being all the way down in the southeast at Sebring, sitting at 62. But this is why, again, once that sun goes down, our temperatures drop relatively quickly with those dew points in the 40s and 50s. Most of us are in the 50s, and the dew points will be going up a little bit tomorrow and into Monday. And this is due to a front that we're tracking that's going to be coming through tomorrow, kind of late in the evening. So to sum it up today, you'll be in the mid 70s after the chilly start. It's going to be sunny. It will be nice, and luckily, again, some lighter winds. So that's not going to be a big issue. As we go into tonight, a couple degrees warmer. Again, we started this morning at 55. You'll be 58 tonight to early tomorrow morning. So a nice, cool, but comfortable evening with those mostly clear skies. And then for tomorrow, this is really our best chance of rain we're going to have for the extended, at least the next 7 days. We'll be near 80 degrees tomorrow. Again, our normal is 82 for this time of year. So we'll still have a nice start, but those clouds will build. And you can see there on the satellite radar, nothing going on for the day today. There is the extended look, and there is the cold front again. So show you that right quick here, and there it is dropping its way down, as you can see, into the Gulf tomorrow. And then it'll push through kind of late. There's 3 a.m. on Monday. And then by the time you get up, it's already going to be past. And Monday afternoon, you see it's all the way past the Bahamas. We'll see that one dissipate. We got another one coming in midweek that looks, for the most part, for our area to come in dry. It'll stall kind of briefly before it'll kind of dissipate as we get towards next weekend. Now, what we're going to see is just our dew points going up a little bit. And Lee, again, with this nice, calm, comfortable weather, I'm sure you're tracking this cold front as well to see if maybe we have a potential for some rain. Been kind of dry across the area. Of course, we're now officially in the dry season. So, Lee, what are you looking at with this cold front coming in for Jacksonville tomorrow?
We've put some rain there in the forecast, not a washout. We'll be tracking some of those showers. Like you said, with the timing, this is going to be more overnight Sunday. So if we take a look at our Sunday forecast here on the First Coast, we're going to have sunshine tomorrow morning, but then later in the day, you'll notice cloud cover, and after sunset is likely when we would have some showers. Now, this morning in our newscast, I was showing showers trying to pop around sunset, which is 5:30 tomorrow, but now our newest model run keeps us dry until really early Monday morning, maybe a few of those showers kind of passing through. So it's possible here in the Jacksonville area that we could have some Monday morning commute showers, maybe a few slick roads, but as you all can see there, it's not a whole lot of rain, it looks like. So just be aware, some showers overnight Sunday into Monday here. And then we clear out quickly and we will have more sunshine on our Monday. So we put morning showers on Monday, but then in the afternoon, lots of sunshine. But similar to today, we're not going to warm up too much under all of that sunshine because, as James mentioned, it's a cold front. And so the cooler air tries to move in. It's going to keep our temperatures right at 70. And something to remember is that when we have a high of 70, it means that we spend most of the afternoon hours in the 60s. And in addition to that, even if you reach 70 degrees, you can see there, we'll have a little bit of a breeze that will make things feel cooler. So I would dress for the 60s on Monday. However, under the sunshine, it should feel fairly nice. Now, our low temperatures, this morning, we also had spots in the upper 30s and lower 40s. We're not going to be as cold in the next couple of mornings. Still, around or below average with that normal low of 55 here in Jacksonville. I think we'll start off near 50 tomorrow morning, and then again Tuesday morning be in the upper 40s after we get that cooler air moving in behind that front. But then those temperatures start to rise back into the 50s. And we've been watching it closely because actually here on the First Coast, we consider places like Waycross part of the First Coast. We cover Southeast Georgia as well as Northeast Florida. And places like Blackshear and Waycross normally this time of year get their first frost. So we've been watching those morning lows very closely. So here's a look at the Jacksonville 7-day forecast. And you can see those rain chances are on the lower end. So it's late Sunday, overnight Sunday night into Monday morning, but really just a few showers and sprinkles expected. And then we're going to be back down to the lower 70s Monday and Tuesday. But James, I do expect us here to start warming back up through the 70s and approach near 80 degrees on Friday. What about you all?
Yeah, we're kind of looking at the same thing. Forecast model's been back and forth. The Euro model is not impressed with this cold front, even the GFS and some of the high resolution models. So we're looking again, kind of the same thing, a little bit better chance for rain, but coming again, same as after sunset tomorrow. So the bulk of the day looks pretty good, and we're going to warm up a little bit for tomorrow, a little bit closer to average ahead of this front coming in. So here's your future cast for the rest of the day today, looking beautiful out there, of course. And then we'll start tomorrow with lots of sunshine. And there's 3 o'clock. So again, the bulk of the day tomorrow is looking good. You see that shower activity offshore and kind of the same scenario that Lee was just talking about. This is the latest forecast model run. This is getting back to a little bit better agreement with the Euro and the GFS. I'm not ready to get rid of that rain chance just yet, just because it's just one model run. The earlier model run with the high-res HRRR model shows that we are going to see some scattered showers late Sunday. And then again, an even smaller chance going into Monday. Looks like we'll start the day with sunshine and then end up with sunshine. It's going to be nice. And kind of the, excuse me, kind of the same thing. This one is not going to be as strong and as long lasting. We've been in the 50s for the last 3 mornings. So as we go into Monday, back into the 60s, Tuesday will drop, and then we're just going to climb right back up. Looks what happens as we get towards the next weekend. As we're looking at those averages, back up a little closer to normal. 64 is where we're supposed to be starting our day. So again, unfortunately, look at this. And again, this is the model I just showed you for the rainfall forecast for the next couple of days. A whole bunch of zeros, and kind of the same thing with the Euro. The Euro does show a little bit out there, but unfortunately just not enough. A tenth of an inch, a hundredth of an inch, excuse me, 100th to 2/100ths of an inch. This is just not going to be much of anything. And again, we're in the dry season now, and actually we started the dry season earlier. Look at that moisture content, as you can see, all the way into next weekend, looking good. And there it is with that cold front coming through. Again, a very small chance. Once that pushes its way out, then we'll see more dry air. And then the possibility of maybe another front leading into next week. Looks like maybe about the same timing, but again, another very low rain chance. And typically in the rainy season, of course, we don't need cold fronts for it to rain. We have humidity, we have east flow from the Bermuda High, and we get a lot of lift with a lot of heat, and we get daytime thunderstorms. In the dry season, we need cold fronts to come through, but again, most of the time, these fronts just don't have enough moisture that makes its way all the way to us, especially with these Gulf temperatures starting to cool down. Now, we are in a little bit of a drought, but remember, this is not going to go up too much just because we're in the dry season now. And look at your October rainfall. I see 0.39, a deficit of close to 2 inches, and year to date, 7.6. Look at Brooksville, 15, Winter Haven, 12. And there is the reason why we have that drought, is because of September. We were supposed to still be in the rainy season, driest September on record. Not even 3/4 of an inch of rain for the entire month. And typically we get like 6. We did get 2 extra in August. I think 9.1, I think, is your average for August. It does go down a little bit for September, but again, not quite that dry there for, again. The dew points are going to be going back up, and this is what I'm talking about. You're going to feel a little bit more of that heat come towards the end of the week. It's not going to be oppressive, but there's your 7-day forecast. Again, turning those clocks back. Again, same scenario. Tomorrow morning, our sunrise will be at 6:41. It was 7:41 this morning, and then a 5:44 sunset on Sunday. So, and there's our warm up as well. There's a little bit of a cool down Tuesday morning, back into the upper 50s and then back into those mid 60s with highs actually in the mid 80s for Thursday, Friday. So let's make the transition into hurricane season. What is left of it? And again, this is a good time of year. Of course, it gets even better on November 30th when it's the last day. But there we are, November 1st, and we do have 30 days left of hurricane season. So let's recap so far. And you see your 2025 season, we've made it to Melissa. And the extended models don't show. I was looking at the AI models, even the GFS, which is usually pretty robust on getting anything, just doesn't show much of anything. It's not completely vacant of activity like some of the other models are, but you can see there what we've had so far this season. So we've had 13 named storms, 5 hurricanes, and 4 major. Now, when you look at it, 14, 7, and 3 are your normal. So 13 named is 1 below normal, 7 hurricanes, which is 2 below normal, and those 4 major is close at 3. So again, that's what we're calling it near average. Here's the crazy thing. There's 2 things about this season that make it a little bit different. No landfalling hurricanes so far, and again, the extended looks pretty good that we could keep it that way. The last time we didn't have a landfalling hurricane was in 2015. The only thing we did have making landfall in South Carolina was Tropical Storm Chantal. Here's the other thing that is crazy about this season. We've had 3 Category 5s. There's only 1 other season on record that had more than 2, and that was 2005, where, of course, they had 4. So when we talk about Melissa, look where it ranks for the strongest Atlantic storms, and this is due to pressure. Pressure is typically what they use to determine strength. And as you can see, there it is, tied for 3rd with the 1935 Labor Day hurricane at 892. And the unfortunate thing about this is that is what it was at landfall. You look at Milton at 895, that was not at landfall. So it did start to weaken. Melissa was in the process of strengthening. And look, there's Hurricane Wilma on top, still the strongest when it comes to pressure and wind speed. So here's your wind speed. Allen is the strongest hurricane on record at 190 miles per hour. Melissa, Milton, Dorian, Wilma, and that Labor Day hurricane are all tied for second. There's 5 of them at 185. And we've got some video, I believe, of Jamaica. We had some before and after. So we had some power outage maps and some video. If we could pull up some of that video, and you could see some of the relief efforts going on, trying to get cleaned up, and this is just, this is going to be a while. So us here in Tampa, we understand what this is like. Now, not like at this extreme. I mean, look at that. It's just, there's really no building that you could build that can handle sustained winds of 185, and they were recording wind gusts of 215. So again, just devastation. And the power outage, I mean, look at that. It's just, and Kingston is what you see on the right, bottom right. That is what I would say really got the minimal amount of damage, because it did make landfall on that southwest coast and did push its way up. Even Montego Bay, where the airport is, you see that. So unfortunately, there's a lot of these areas that it is going to be a while before they get the power back on. The infrastructure is just, again, has been devastated. Now, again, saying that with Melissa hitting Jamaica there, it did damage in Cuba. It did some damage in the Bahamas as well. Don't want you to fall for any of those scams out there when it comes to trying to donate. Now, what you could do is you can text, and you can get a complete list here. So look at your screen there, and you can text donate to 727-577-8522. And what we'll do is we'll send you a list of places that you can donate. Because again, I know it's been a while, Lee, since Jacksonville has had to deal with anything like we dealt with last year with Milton, with Helene, even with Debbie. We got flooding, we got surge, we got all of it. But we got all of it spread out over the course of months, where Jamaica got it all in one morning. So that is something that people need to kind of help out. And again, and to do that, you can text that there as well. So it's been a while for Jacksonville, luckily, but you've been watching those extended models to see what could potentially come. We got one more month left. What are you seeing out there with those models?
And, you know, like you said, we have one more month left, which is something I've been hearing a lot here locally. Unfortunately, people saying, hey, we made it through the season. And so, again, I just want to press home the point that we are not done with the season yet. We had Hurricane Nicole a couple years ago in November. It is still possible to have landfalling hurricanes in the month of November. And James, you're right, too. Something that maybe my viewers who tune into streams a lot are tired of me saying. I don't mean to diminish anyone's experience with any sort of tropical systems, because here on the First Coast, we actually did have impacts from Helene, from Milton. We had power outages, trees down, some homes were destroyed, especially in Waycross where trees fell on homes. But here on the First Coast, we have not had a landfalling hurricane, a direct hit from a hurricane, since Dora in the 1960s. So while we had hurricane force gusts in places like Waycross when Helene came through, we actually did not have hurricane impacts. So while people here in Jacksonville think that they have been through a hurricane and that's why they could stay if one threatens, unless you've been here since the 60s and you lived through Dora, here in Jacksonville, you've not lived through a landfalling hurricane. And so I'm really glad that you put that donation number up, because Jamaica needs all of the help that they can get. I know we've done stories on aid already on the way to Jamaica, but it's just going to be a really long, hard recovery process for them. The good news is here for over the next 7 days, no areas of possible formation being watched by the National Hurricane Center, which is always a relief to see. Melissa went post-tropical. It's not being monitored anymore. And so, James, now for the next week, looking quiet. I didn't mean to say the Q word. It makes me nervous. But, I am always glad to see this where it's no areas being watched by the National Hurricane Center. But we, of course, have tools that look out beyond as well, 2 weeks and beyond.
Yeah, and looking at, like I mentioned, some of the AI models, the European model, it really, with Google has a good AI model. Absolutely nothing, which is fantastic. And you'll see some lows kind of here and there. But this is the time of year that we start to transition our focus of the tropical origins. And whenever looking at this map of the tropical origins, as you can see, likely it's there in blue, some of that track kind of follows Melissa. And so here's the thing, and this is one thing that, again, we typically talk about. So in the month of November, we average one storm every 2 years in this region. But that's not kind of the region we're watching now. So look at this and look around Jamaica. So this map last week was kind of this orangish red color, but you see what happened when Melissa moved, and you can kind of easily see the track there. What we had was upwelling. One of the reasons why Melissa became so strong so fast was not just because that water temperature was warm, it was because of the depth of how warm that water was going down. So as you can see, you zoom in, Jamaica, actually very low heat potential, which is good. But look at the Western Caribbean. So over the course of November 5th through the 11th, the Climate Prediction Center puts this out. And this doesn't mean that they see anything developing. This just means that this is the area which has the highest potential. And you still see it's less than 20%. So what we have is, of course, La Nina conditions going on right now and those very warm water temperatures. And then look at the week after that, kind of same area, south of Jamaica, all the way into Central America. And this goes all the way through November the 18th, because again, look at those water temperatures that are in the mid 80s. So still have the fuel down there if something was to develop for it to turn into something tropical. So again, you're still looking at, again, around Jamaica, you see kind of that color contour where it's these grays. That means it's normal. So still warm, but again, 1 to 2 around where Melissa was. And if you go here to the west, that little darker shade is 3+. So that is what we're going to be keeping our eyes on as we go throughout the next couple of weeks. And again, I'm not a superstitious person. When I ever say, okay, we haven't been hit by every hurricane, they was like, oh, hush, hush, don't say anything, you're going to jinx it. I don't believe in that. I believe in the forecast models. And Lee, what we're looking at moving forward, like you mentioned, for at least the next week, we're not watching, and those extended models are showing for the next couple of weeks, things are looking pretty good. So, of course, we're going to stay here. We're going to keep you updated on everything. But, yeah, as of now, things are looking fantastic. So you go out in the parking lot, tell Mike Prangley I said hi, and tell him that I'll see him tomorrow. I hope everyone else has a wonderful Saturday.